Hello guys, it's Melissa and welcome to another video where today I am building a small home with bunk beds because, like pretty much everyone else, I am obsessed with bunk beds. Yes, they have their flaws, but they're still really fun to play with, and I think there's a lot of possibilities, especially when it comes to smaller homes for more Sims, because of course you can now get 2 Sims for basically the price of 1 in the bedroom, so that's good. And as you can see, I have already got a structure here. So this is one of the pre-existing builds in Oasis Springs. I really like sort of having renovations in this way because it's like a kind of nice starting point to build from. This house isn't actually terrible for the standard of EA builds, but it's also not the best. And I also did want to make it a small home as well because that's, in my opinion, one of the best ways to utilize bunk beds. So yeah, it's a tier 3 small home. It's got 99 out of 100 tiles, so it just about makes it, but I do have that kind of little front porch area, which, I mean, I definitely could have gotten rid of, but it still would have been a small home. So, and do you know what? I am not the best at small homes. I really struggle with them. I'm just not very good. I just prefer having a lot of space. Sometimes, you know, I find whenever I do these kind of homes, I still want it to look good, so I feel like if you don't care about how it looks, you can get away with kind of squidging things up against walls. And like, I know there's that way to do the 1x3 bathroom as well, but it doesn't look particularly good. It's more just for the practicality of having a small home, but I'd want it to look nice as well. And I think I really like small homes. Like, I wouldn't mind owning a small house in real life because I think they're really cozy, and I think I don't know, you can just make them feel really homely when everything's kind of really close together. I mean, I do have a lot of stuff, so I think practically, I think I'd have too many things for a small home, but I think they're really cute. I love building them, but I do find them to be a real struggle. So yeah, it went okay, but there were definitely a few things that I had to compromise on, and you will see, and I will talk about in a minute, my huge struggle with the floor plan. But I am just starting on the outside, and I did want to keep it roughly similar to how it was, obviously with a few changes. I love the kind of Oasis Springs and Strangerville plants, so I used a lot of those in the front garden. It looks really good with like the orange ground. And I did try to keep it relatively simple as well, and you'll see there is a definite colour theme throughout this build, which is brown, because the house was already kind of brown and I really like it. I have this reshade on, which is called the Dove reshade. I've seen quite a few people use it, so I've been using it. I mean, whenever you see me using reshade in my build, it's this one. I'm not the best at reshades, so I've downloaded a few others and I can't get them to work. And this is the only one I got to work, but I really like it, so I do use it often. And it creates a really nice like deep shadow effect, and I think like when you use browns, it looks really good. So that was my color theme for this build, and I really liked it. I think there's a lot of browns in the game because obviously it goes really well with wood tones. So yeah, I really liked the final look, and I tried to do maybe like a bit modern influences of mid-century modern, but I'm not very good at like I don't know how you describe it, like builds with particular sort of build styles, because I'm not necessarily so educated in that. So maybe this isn't really a modern mid-century build. I don't know. But let's just say it has influences. I tried. But yeah, it was a 1 bedroom, 1 bath. But as you can see, I turned the living room into another bedroom. I'm going to delete out the furniture in there. Because I wanted to make this for either one adult sim or like a couple, and 3 children. So I've got 1 bunk bed and 1 loft bed in there with a desk underneath as well, because I think one of the main inspirations for this was just seeing like people experimenting with different things that you could put underneath bunk beds, because of course you can't put everything. And you know, I wanted to talk about this because I know the Sims team said that they, you know, wanted to get bunk beds out as soon as possible, and there's, you know, improvements that are going to be made, but they're just not there yet. And first of all, it's like, you know, why couldn't you just spend a little bit of extra time just to make them perfect before you release them? But secondly, within like less than a day, modders and custom content creators made bunk beds where you could stick like full-size desks underneath them, and they work perfectly. So I don't know why the Sims team Like, it's taken them 7 years to make bunk beds, and they're not even like proper finished bunk beds, whereas like other people have done it perfectly. So yeah, I just find it a bit odd. Like, I don't want to come across like I'm complaining. Like, I very much appreciate when we get free content, but at the same time, sometimes it does kind of feel a bit like, you know, the bare minimum. Especially, you know, a lot of people have been asking this for years and years and years, and then it's not perfect. And then like modders and custom content creators come along and are able to like basically perfect the product in less time. So I don't know, I find that a bit weird. I don't really know what's going on, but I'm not a modder, I'm not a custom content creator, so I don't really know anything about game development. But yeah, I know a lot of people share this frustration as well, but I mean, I'm grateful that we have bunk beds in. As you can see, I am very much enjoying doing bunk bed builds. It just is a bit frustrating that there are some restrictions still, but hopefully soon that will get fixed and we can put like full size things underneath there. But yeah, this is very much the main sort of area of the house, and you'll see how much I struggled with this floor plan. Oh my gosh, so you've got the kitchen and the dining room, and there's not really a living room. That's basically what I had to sacrifice. So you can see it's a very, very tight space, and there just wasn't really room for a sofa. You'll see I did put a sofa originally where the dining table was, but it was literally facing the back door. There was places I could put a sofa, and there was places I could put a TV, but there was nowhere where I could put a sofa facing a TV. So as you can see, I just put the TV over the little island counters. And I did playtest this build. You can actually find it on the gallery. My origin ID is MaddieJ1996, and it's in the description of every video. So it is up there, and I did playtest it before I uploaded it. And the only thing majorly that I had to change was, you can see that I put a games console on the island counters underneath the TV. That was me being quite ambitious. I didn't think it would work, but I thought I'd give it a try. But no, they can't play the games console if they're not sat on a sofa or like an armchair or something like that. So I did have to actually remove that because I couldn't use it. Funny, when I was actually playtesting it, I tried to get my sim to do it, and he got kind of stuck in the counter and I couldn't get him out. So I thought it was best just to remove it altogether. The bunk beds that I do place, like I say, I've got one bunk bed and one loft bed, and I do manage to fit a desk under the loft bed. It's not a full-size desk, it's one of the smaller ones. Originally he couldn't get up to the top bunk, but I had like a pile of books next to the desk, and I just moved them ever so slightly closer to the desk and closer to the wall, and then they could go up the bunk bed. So I think it very much is up to just sort of experimenting and testing it out, because some things don't necessarily work so well and other things do. So yeah, it's worth just kind of playing around. And I'm not usually one to play test builds, because I guess I'm not trying to sort of, put things where they shouldn't be. I like a kind of standard floor plan, put everything in there. But because of the bunk bed issues, I thought, there probably might be some things that don't function so well. So I did want to test it out before I uploaded it. But you can download it if you want to. And I really, really like this house. Like I say, I love the brown color theme, especially with like a reshade in your game. It looks really, really good. And I was kind of impressed with how much I could fit in there. Like I say, it was a bit annoying that I couldn't get a living room in there. But the fact that this could have up to like 5 sims, I'm pretty happy with that. So bunk beds definitely have revolutionized the tiny living pack, which, I mean, I know everyone has already said it. Like, even when the tiny living pack came out, it would have been absolutely the perfect pack for bunk beds. I've never been that fussed about bunk beds, but now we've got them. I really see their use, and I see why everyone was kind of desperate for them. And I also agree, like, now how ridiculous it is that we didn't get it in tiny living, because that would have been absolutely perfect. And personally, I don't actually use Murphy beds because I don't want my sims to die. So I've never used a Murphy bed. I don't think I ever will. I definitely would have preferred bunk beds, but like I say, we have them now, and they're in the base game as well, which is cool. And yeah, this is the kids' room. I had a lot of fun with this. I decided to, like, in my last build, the kids' bedroom was crazy. It was like every color under the sun. It was like lots of decorations, because I was imagining 4 kids to live there. who all had very different aspirations, hobbies, interests, things like that. But in this build, it's all pretty consistent. So all the beds are like pink and blue themed. So, you know, I tried to keep it very similar. So I imagine these are maybe like 3 Sims. And because you've got the bunk bed and the loft bed, maybe like twins and like a sibling, who are all into very similar things, are very playful. So I wanted to put a lot of toys, and you can see I put the little violin in there as well. So I imagine maybe a little bit creative. Because it is a small home though, I couldn't put too many other decorations. But yeah, you can see here now the desk that I put in and those books. I moved them just slightly and then the bunk bed worked. So that was successful. I wasn't sure how it was going to go. It was the first time I was trying sort of putting things underneath the loft bed, and it was fine. But yeah, the rule is that as long as you put something underneath the pillow side of the bed, it should work. But anything beyond that, Sims won't be able to, well, they'll be able to use the bottom, but they won't be able to actually use the bed on top. So yeah, that's kind of annoying, but anyway, that's how it is. And also the other thing that I am very much utilizing in all of my builds going forward is these posters. I absolutely love that we got new swatches for them. I think they're really cool. I'm really, really happy. Like I say, I think it's kind of crazy that we didn't get it in the first place. Like the fact that every single poster of Sims was using like white Sims, I think that's just really odd. And again, I don't know why it takes like 7 years to introduce these features, but we've got them now, so there we are. And I think that's pretty much the end of the video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!